and gentlemen, all of you here have rewritten the rules and changed the game that you've played so far. In reality, though, what you've done is thrown the gauntlet into a bigger arena. To tell you how you should be steering through those seas, I'd like to welcome on stage a few of our stars in the audience here today. May I invite Mr. Hemir Doshi, IDG Ventures. Hemir, can we have you on stage? Deep Kalra, founder and CEO, Make My Trip. Hitesh Oberoi, CEO, Info Edge. Vijay Sharma, CMD 197. And to moderate this session, may I invite once again Shireen Bhan on stage. Shireen.
We're going to be talking about entrepreneurship and why first-generation entrepreneurs, who all of you sort of comprise of, we're seeing so many of you today. And I want to start by asking you, Vijay, and you know, if my memory serves me right, the conversation that we had when you were on the show in 2007, I'm getting old, so if I mix up the story a little bit, forgive me for that. I remember you told me that you were a young boy, you had studied in Lucknow, Hindi medium, and then you went to Delhi College of Engineering, and that was the first time that you actually got into an English medium curriculum. And at 25, you actually had the audacity to decide to do your own thing. What drove you at that point in time?
I think some of the time in my life, I remember there was that moment of that Hindi film movement of, you know, underdog movement that, you know. So when Amitabh Bachchan will get shot down and he has to come Muqaddar ka Sikandar movement and whatever else. So
you were trying to be Amitabh Bachchan of the business world, is it?
No, I'll tell you what, that I went through that horrible movement in which I had a choice to give up or say that I'll stand up against it. So I think I chose to say that whatever be my life be, I know that money won't be a problem in my life. And then over the period, I saw that when internet was coming in, I started my company way back in internet 8 days, 96, 97 years. So internet was making it exciting even more and easy for us to enter. So there was the culmination of an opportunity and sort of a drive that I have to do something and not give in to whatever is being thrown on me.
All right, so you decided to take the challenge head on. Deep Kalra, I want to talk to you about creating $1 billion company, and we've had this conversation. It took you practically, what, 10 to 7 years to actually get to that $1 billion mark, and today you're seeing companies being valued at $1 billion within 3 years or 5 years. Some of them are sitting here in our audience. Is it a different world, even in that 10-year period that you started Make My Trip?
It's all about timing. The first 5 years of our existence, Make My Trip, we were really focused on the US-India market, the NRI market. It was a very small market. The market in India wasn't ready. In hindsight, it was perhaps the best decision we took to stop marketing in India. It's 2005 onwards when we launched in India, and I think at that point of time, we did catch the market at the right time. Maybe a little early, maybe a little late, who can tell? But people who have launched in the last few years have not only, I think, just got the wave. I actually think there's a quality difference in the kind of entrepreneurs. So I think they're just much better entrepreneurs, far more seasoned.
Hitesh, I want to talk to you about how the perception is, and you're the management type, you went to IIM and all of that, that management or management studies or MBA school is anti-entrepreneurship. You're clearly an exception to that perception. But is there some degree of truth to that?
Well, I think it's changing, and I'm not an exception anymore. So there are lots of entrepreneurs now from business schools. You know, I think it's they've just borrowed from the curriculum which existed in management schools abroad. But now I think they're realizing that there is an opportunity, and entrepreneurship can be taught.
Hemir Doshi, you know, you talk to entrepreneurs practically every other day. You invest and you back and you support entrepreneurs. What, to your mind, has been the biggest change in the entrepreneurial ecosystem in India?
I think the scale at which people are thinking, the professionalism that is there, the thinking in terms of sharing of wealth with the larger part of the organization, and also thinking of management as different from shareholding. You know, I think those kind of practices and that kind of mindset is very much there in first generation entrepreneurs. I think it's been fantastic. We've seen about 4,000 entrepreneurs in the last 5 years.
4,000 entrepreneurs. We've seen at least 1,500 here on Young Turks. One of the big problems that entrepreneurs have to deal with, or any company has to deal with, is how do you not get distracted?
You know, I think it's about not just your mission, but it's about understanding the IPO is only one step. So the IPO is definitely a culmination of something, but in a very strange sort of way, and Hitesh will understand this, is actually the beginning of a new wave. And Chandra spoke about it, 50 quarters after that of success is fantastic. We've been listed a year and a half, and we already think it's been a long time. So when you get listed, I think is when you're really put to the test.
Yeah.
Because you raise a lot of money for your company and you're supposed to put this to good use and you have to figure out what you can do. So now you have the ammunition, but you got to pick your targets.
Yeah.
And at that point of time, you got to size up your market. So it depends on what market you're in. So we're pretty clear that we're going to be focused on travel for a long time to come.
Okay.
There's a huge scope. Maybe geographically we'll move out, but it's going to be travel for us.
Himar, I want to ask you, we get asked this question all the time. When are we going to see the Google of India? When are we going to see a Microsoft out of India? Do you believe that we're at that point now?
I think entrepreneurs are leading the way in terms of coming up with true blue IP from this country. Next 3 to 5 years, there should be a IP-oriented play from India, which clearly makes its mark. And I think some of your nominees had that in the making,
and
right?
we had that discussion during the jury deliberations of some of the nominees here who are likely to be the companies that Himar said will make it in the next 3 to 5 years as truly global Indian companies in the technology space. I'm going to get wrap-up comments from all of you, and I want to start by asking you, make this as anecdotal as possible. We've all talked about how sexy being a startup is and all of that. What is the one thing that you feel you could have done differently that you would like to share with them?
One of the things we've got to understand as young entrepreneurs is, you can't do everything yourself.
Yeah.
So you really need a very good team around you. And often we say, surround yourself with people better than you.
Yeah.
And it's true. If you can manage to do that, it's just fantastic.
Wrap-up comments from you, Vijay.
I think there's only one line that I believe that you should give yourself a chance. You're awesome.
Give yourself a chance. You're awesome.
Yeah.
Hitesh, food for thought.
I think, slow and steady wins the race. So while you can be aggressive about raising money, be very conservative about the decisions you take and about how you spend it, you have to it's a marathon.
It's not a marathon. It's not a 100-meter dash. It is a marathon. Himar Doshi, wrap-up comments.
Be an entrepreneur because your DNA is asking you to do that, because you'll have fun in doing that and not being swayed by all the media hype around the valuations and the big money being created in short periods of time. Do it because you love to do it.
Absolutely. So ladies and gentlemen, many, many thanks to all of our panelists here for sharing your life stories and your lessons in entrepreneurship. We wish all of you the very best of luck. Thank you very much.